All right, well, thanks for coming to this session. Just a little agenda. I'll share a little bit about me, and then we'll talk about what is the Bluescape, what is community at Bluescape, and I'll ask you guys if you guys are familiar with it as well. And we'll talk about the problem statement and the 4 steps to resolve the problem, and I'll share with you some best practices, some results, and takeaways with you, so you can take that with you as well. A little bit about me. I run the Bluescape community. I'm a natural program builder. I think it's my old consulting days or something like that, but I treat everything a project or a program, and I really get a kick out of it because you kind of do things from inception, and then you build it and you see it through execution, and I get a big kick out of that. A little personal note about myself: I have a 4-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old daughter, so you meet a bunch of cool people out here who are in rock bands and do skydiving and everything. For me, it's all about Frozen and Let It Go, and so if you have questions for Disney princesses, I'm your guy. The company I'm with is called Bluescape, and we are a visual collaboration platform. And people refer to us sometimes as Minority Report, the movie where Tom Cruise uses a virtual wall, and he's flinging objects and manipulating sizes of objects as well. So the best thing I could do is show you what it looks like.
Bluescape is a visual collaborative workspace designed to elevate your work through visualization, collaboration, aggregation, and persistence. Individuals and teams create and collaborate from anywhere and anytime around visual content using an ecosystem of devices: a tablet, a smartphone, a personal computer, or configurable multi-touch monitor to an entire wall. The foundation of Bluescape is the workspace, a vast virtual canvas. You can add templates, note cards, images, files, websites, videos, drawings. Everything you and your team needs to work. Invite others to collaborate by email with you and your team in the workspace. Your guests may view, contribute, or just follow along, and capture the entire evolution of a project in a single view. Easily work with remote teams in different time zones. Think of the exciting possibilities to work in a brand new way.
So as you can see, our product is that it's changing behavior. So our CSMs are tasked with a pretty tough challenge to change people's behaviors, which is not an easy task. So our ratio with CSMs to customers is not as high as some of the SaaS companies out there. But at this point, I want to ask, how many people here know what a community is? Okay, about a quarter of the people. But in our world at Bluescape, we have tech support. We have forums, we have knowledge base, chatter, video, training, events, and blogging. And then, what is a community? We view community as a virtual and in-person platform to collaborate and share our thoughts and ideas. Our community team is actually only 3 members. So I'll share with you how we service our members, but 3 members at this point. I'm sorry, 3 community managers at this point. In 2015, Bluescape started to grow, and we needed to transition from a startup to a growth company. And like most startups, we took on all customers at this point, right? So we didn't segment, we just kind of took everybody in. So it went across verticals and company sizes and use cases, you name it. And this is what we had to do to survive, right? Increase revenues, increase number of customers, and increase licenses. And then so what we had to do is basically make a jump from startup to growth company. And if you're familiar with the marketing term, crossing the chasm, this is essentially where we were last year. And we continue to make this leap, by the way. And what's the problem statement here? We're growing, we're taking on a lot of more customers, but what we want to do is still maintain the best service possible. And then so we developed this thing called TechTouch, or touch points, if you will. And then so 4 steps. The first step is you have to prepare to scale your business, and you do this internally initially. What you do is you solidify your methodology, right? All the CSMs say the same thing. They all think the same thing. They're all on the same page. The second thing we did was went out and got a tool. We went out, in this particular case, we got to Tango, and now we can tell what customers are doing, what they are, how they're using our product, and that we're not blind to what our customers are doing anymore. And then we solidified our processes as well. And then last but not least, work with your internal team. And this includes everyone, right? Sales, marketing, engineering, product. They all have to buy into this scaling your business concept. And in order to do all these things, in order to scale your business, you have to do these things initially. You guys have all seen this, right? The customer segmentation triangle. So, but I'll just go over through it really quickly. Your enterprise customers, these are your named accounts, right? Your high touch, whatever that means, whether it's weekly or daily or whatever the cadence is. Then your mid-market, your mid-touch, medium touch. And what I want to concentrate on is the small, medium businesses, customers, and what we're going to do is talk about our touch points and our tech touch. So one of the first things we did when we segmented was we looked at company size. And then we looked if we evaluated if the companies or if our customers are strategic in nature. For example, we have one particular customer, and they're a huge product company, but they only have 5 licenses with us. Because of who they are and where the account may go, we'll put them in that strategic nature. Number of licenses. Basically, it comes down to to annual contract value. And then last but not least, we'll talk about the umbrella. And what that means is that the relationship with our customer at this point and where they are in terms of adoption. Are they using our stuff on a regular basis? Do they know what they're doing? Where they're saying, hey, leave me alone, just I want to chug along. And I think we all know who these customers are. So like I said, we're going to concentrate on the SMB for this presentation. So what you want to do is decide on a model. And before you decide on a model on how to service these SMB guys, you got to know your customer, know who they are. And so what we did was we talked about Totango earlier. And so we want to automate this touch point process. And like I said, the 3 criteria for this model is that number 1, they have to be an SMB customer. Number 2, they have to be fully adopted. And like I said, these are the customers who know what they're doing, and they don't really want you to reach out every single week. It's more like, get out of the way, give me what I need, and let me use your product. And the third thing we gauge is admitted value or desired outcome, as some people use it, where a customer will come up to you and they say things like, oh, we can't live without your product, or we use it every single day. I can't live without it, right? These are the things when I talk about admitted value. And here's the model. Initially, the CSMs train our customers, and then they get them to adopt. And then when they're fully adopted and they're admitting value and they fit the company size criteria, we'll actually hand them off to the customer and community team. And it's a physical handoff. And it's a little different, right? You don't hear about communities servicing customers in a customer success realm, but that's what we do here. And as an example of our tech touch, right? Keep in mind, these are the guys that are chugging along. They don't want your help. So we sent them this monthly communication, and initially we used Marketo. We want to, this is a Christmas theme, and we want to talk about all the things that are coming up, all the new features and such. This is when we first started doing this tech touch. And then we started utilizing some of the modules that Totango has, and it's called campaigns and customer or success plays, right, Ron? I think I called it right. And these are some of the best practices we did. First of all, it's a lot cleaner, it's a lot more organized now. And the body of the content is actually updates and new features. And we know what they're doing, right? So if they're using a feature that they're utilizing really well, we might ask them for feedback. Or if they're not using a feature that we think they should be using, we'll mention that as well. And like I said, we know these metrics using Totango. And we'll actually share the monthly metrics with them on their usage. And there's more graphical pictures here, but I didn't include them. We'll share with them the active days on a 30-day basis, active users on a 30-day basis, and total activities on a 30-day basis. And then at the end, we'll have a call to action, whatever it may be, whether it's learn more or join us or whatnot. And keep in mind, we have a team of 3 people, 3 customer and community members servicing a portfolio of customers. So what we do is we reach out on a monthly basis, and we always make ourselves available. And we do this because when you scale your business, you have to limit the resource. And like I said, this is the model that a lot of our customers are going for. You might ask, how do you decide on a monthly touch point? It's a little bit of trial and error, to tell you the truth. And we played around with it every 3 weeks, every 2 weeks, and at the end, 1 month was the appropriate amount of contact. The fourth step, last and not least, get buy-in from CSMs in the entire organization. When you're when you're developing a program, you need that internal buy-in, and you need those advocates for you. CSMs by nature are very protective of customers, right? You guys all know this, and you spend your time creating that advisory role with your customers, so it's actually hard for them to let go. And we have a CSM in my organization right here. He's one of the guys I had to convince that your customers will be better off being serviced in the community. And another thing you want to say is maybe you want to challenge your CSMs a little bit. Say, hey, these guys are completely onboarded, they're adopted. Let's go try different things, bigger and better things, if you will. Some of the best practices. No surprises, right? We don't know. I personally don't like surprises. So you wanna make everybody aware of this new program change. So it's a bit of change management here. You want to communicate early. You want to get people's buy-in. You want to get their input. Another thing is when you transition from customer success to community team, it seems to work when you're doing it during a QBR, because hopefully your customer's in good shape. You're talking about good things. You're talking about usage. You're talking about how they're thriving and winning business or doing design or saving money or making money essentially during the QBR. So it's a good time when everybody gets together. You can do a formal handoff. Make touch points, content meaningful and memorable by customizing your content. We have a portfolio of customers, but we want to cater that communication so that it's specific to them. So it's not just a complete email blast. It's more about how they can improve and what they can do to be better. So we didn't really know how the program was working, right? Transitioning customers to community and then using these tech touches and whatnot. And then so these are some of the results. We had a 100% retention rate at renewal time. So all the customers that came up during renewal during this program change, 100% retention, which is pretty awesome. And then 72% of those guys actually were upsold. They bought more licenses or hardware. 100% of these customers are referable, meaning I can call them up and say, hey, I have a customer, would you mind talking to them? And they were all on board with it. Evangelize and partner up. We have customers, they're actually doing case studies for us. Next week, I'm holding a webinar, and one of our customers is actually hosting that webinar. And then we have some customers that are actually hosting events on our behalf at their locations. That's a pretty cool buy-in. And ultimately, we did a survey with customer satisfaction as well, so we knew we're doing a pretty good job. And some of the takeaways and lessons are be creative. You're creating a new program. Don't be afraid to try new things, as well as taking risks, right? There's no right or wrong. Do it until you figure out what the right plan is. And ultimately, know your customers. Understand what customers need from you to be successful. So if you're reaching out to them on a monthly basis via touch points or tech touch, or alternating with the phone call, between months, or setting up some sort of virtual meeting, whatever works best for you. And last but not least, buy-in from all parties is critical. You need this to be successful.